welcome to rounds 5 and 6 of the 2013 GT Cup Championship here at Brands Hatch. This weekend, the Indy circuit will offer spectators views of almost all of the shorter configuration from wherever they watch. It will also offer our drivers a new set of challenges from our previous meet here at Brands. So let's chat to some of those drivers and see how they got on in qualifying.
Pete Smallwood.
Alex Martin.
Yeah, hi, my name's Marcus Vivian.
Chris Randall.
Hello, Kevin Riley.
We've just had the qualifying. How did it go for you?
Yeah, pretty good. We're P3. I was in the car. I'm with Ben Barker this weekend, so he's not allowed to qualify, being a pro. Yeah, it went okay. We went out on old tyres to start with, just to dial me in a little bit. Then we stuck a new set on and did what I was just talking about. Did I think something like 5 laps. Did our best time on the 5th lap. So yeah, I think we're in good shape for the race. So we'll see what we can do this afternoon.
Alex, I know you've got a new aero package to your car this weekend. I guess that really helps with the sort of downforce and corner speed, and it's made a difference because you're pole position.
Yeah, the main difference with the aero pack is not the outright speed. It's the how long the tyres are lasting, and we made the decision that we're winning the class quite comfortably in the championship. We want to try and get further up front overall. We want to try and beat some of the GT Open cars, which is a big ask. They're much quicker, but we get more TV coverage. It's better advertising for the company and everything. So that's the aim.
Marcus, I know it's the first round for the GT Cup Championship, first time in the car even, and you were P1 in your class, so it went pretty well for you, didn't it?
Yeah, it's good. It's a quick little car, and the guys did a good job setting it up. Yeah, it was a good session.
And tell us, what's the setup like in the car, being the first time you've even been in it? That must have been pretty daunting to actually compete a race in that.
No, not at all. A car's a car. I mean, setup yesterday was okay, a little bit loose in the back end. We tightened it up this morning, and honestly, in practice this morning, we were just on fire. The car felt rock solid. Unfortunately, I did disintegrate my front left, so I have a chat to Pirelli about that later on. So we changed the setup, put a little bit more weight on that tyre to protect it, which made it a little bit loose in our qualifying session again. But hey, we got P1, so it can't be that bad.
Chris, I know we've just had qualifying. You were 2nd in your class and you were 5th overall. Just tell us, how was it out there?
Yeah, it was okay. We'd like to have been first in class, really, as you always would do. We're picking up quite a lot of wheel spin, so we're just busy trying to make some setup changes to try and get a bit more traction. Looking through the data, we were quick through the corners, but we're not putting the power down at the moment, so that's hurting us.
Okay, I'm with the Kevin Riley at the moment, and Kevin, just tell us what happened. Electrical problems this time during qualifying.
Yes, we've never had the same problem twice, but we have had lots of problems. This time a connection came undone, and 3 laps into qualifying, still on cold tyres, had no electrics. The car just cut out. So I parked it on the grass this time. I was towed in. We sat at the pits until the problem was found and rectified. Shot out on cold tyres again, with only 3 laps left of qualifying. My 3rd lap was obviously the best lap, but it wasn't the lap which would have been, which was the 4th lap. I got the flag. So the time on the grid is not representative, and yesterday on very worn tyres I was a 2nd quicker. So on new tyres I should be 2 seconds quicker, we'll see. But obviously we've got a fabulous Riley Prototype ahead of us, and if I can get past him I'll be very happy.
Well, on the positive note, you are 2nd row of the grid, so that's not all that bad really, is it? You can actually go somewhere from that.
Well, that's right, if the car stays together for the whole 40 laps.
Throughout the 2013 season, the GT Cup Championship have a full grid running on Pirelli tyres. Tyre strategy plays a key role in the results because of the range of the conditions the cars have to face throughout a race weekend, especially here at the Brands Hatch Indy circuit. I'm just here with Lloyd Boltz-Miller, the race engineer for FF Corse. Lloyd, just talk us through the different levels of degradation.
Yeah. Basically here we've got 2 sets of tyres. They're both off car number 9, front slicks, and what you'll see here, this is what we would see as a textbook tyre. We can see across the top we've got nice even tyre wear. There's no graining from left to right. This would be the inside edge, this is the outside edge, and what we try to do is maximise the wear across the actual tyre surface. This is the contact patch with the tarmac, and the more of this we can utilise, obviously the higher grip levels there are. On this side we've got an example of a poor tyre Across the top, again, this is the inside edge, this is the outside edge, and what you'll see here, this is what we refer to as graining. On this edge here, you'll see it starts to ripple up, and this is due to excess heat, normally through understeer. The ironic thing with this tyre as well is this is actually on the outside edge. What we do to combat this is we'll add a little bit more camber into the car, so that we actually put more of an angle onto the inside of the wheel, and therefore as the tyre goes around the corner and the sidewall flexes, it will actually roll less onto this outside edge. So this was actually from FP1 this morning, and this is from FP2, so you can actually see what we've got here is a vast improvement. So in today's race over 40 minutes, this will play a massive part towards the end of the race.
Pete, we're just going to talk about tyres. We've got a full grid running on Pirelli tyres for the 2013 season. Just tell us, how important is tyre setup for races like these?
Absolutely critical. It's the number one thing that we've been working on in terms of setup, getting the pressures right, and trying not to overwork the tyres during qualifying, so we've got as much life left in them for the race. So a bit of pressure on in quali to try and drag a time out. The tyres come in probably around lap 3, lap 4, something like that. So you've got to deliver your best time relatively quickly and then try and park the car to save the tyres. So yeah, very critical.
Chris, just tell us how important tyre setup is throughout a race weekend.
It's absolutely critical. I mean, with these Pirelli tyres, what we find is you have to spend some time getting heat into them to get them working. But it's a balance. You want to get the tyre so it's at its optimum temperature, but not past its optimum temperature, and obviously get the pressures right. They don't respond well if you run them very low pressure, and they don't respond well if you run them very high pressure. So it's a bit of a balancing act throughout the weekend.
Alex, pole position, 0.8 of a second faster than the Riley. I guess today the plan is just to not be too aggressive and look after the tyres.
Yeah, we've got the pace today. 0.8 is a lot of time around the Indy circuit. So yeah, just got to keep the head down, not make any mistakes, and the race should come to us.
Alex Martin on pole position with Nigel Mustill alongside. Pete Smallwood GTB pole, Kevin Riley GTO pole in 4th. Then it's Chris Randall and Rupert Martin on row 3. Mike Seller and GTA pole, Marcus Vivian on row 4. The grid completed by Jeff Wyatt, Chris Bentley and Sam Mole. The 7th race of the 2013 GT Cup Championship campaign here on the Indy circuit at Brands Hatch. And a terrific representation across the marks. Let's see whether Alex Martin will get the start that he wants. The invitation class car of Nigel Mustill alongside the Riley Daytona Prototype on board with Rupert Martin. And that's Chris Randall. A significant move, a very quick start and round the outside of Pete Smallwood to take the lead in GTB. And he's up the hill. We're on board with Chris in the Lotus Europa coming up into Druids. Now in front of him, the car in front, non-scoring car in the championship. It's running in the invitation class. He'll want to have a race nonetheless. And Randall's coming through. The very nimble 2-litre 16-valve Lotus trying to go through on the inside. The great thing about the Brands Indy circuit is that it's a terrific level of the twists and turns. You've got a massive long run, of course, round from Clearways where the race leader is. So Alex Martin, that new aero package you heard him talking about with Lisa working wonders. This is exactly where he wants to be. Up at the front end, overall pole position, up across the line. The Dextra Group car very clearly working well. And through on the inside goes the Mosler. Kevin Riley goes through into 3rd place, ahead of Chris Randall. And now on board with Marcus Vivian, the Porsche Cayman on the inside, brand new car, driven at the moment by Sam Mole. He's going to hand over to his dad Colin later on in the race. That car pretty much standard at the moment. A lot of development planned over the course of the next year or so, but wonderful to see it here. Sam and Colin making it over from the Isle of Man to join us, and a very welcome they are to the championship as well. Chris Randall then, the Lotus leading the Porsche, And that's the battle for GTB in this race. Very close indeed. Pete Smallwood, the course races in the Porsche Carrera Cup, Pro 2 Championship leader at this time. And looking around the outside line, he's going to be handing over to Ben Barker later on in the race, but the Lotus hanging on at the moment. Back on board with Marcus Vivian, ex-Ginetta Challenge driver, first time in the G50, and running with Reflex Racing, the team from Ashford, local to here at Brands Hatch. So coming on to Cooper Straight, and the Lotus still fending off Pete Smallwood, who's doing a very good job. Great to see him in the championship, running with Power Motorsport. Kevin Riley through. You can see a little bit of a gap now developing between the GTO Mosler, which seems to have had its qualifying problems ironed out, and the Lotus, with that absolute rocket ship start. Superb start indeed it was from Chris Randall. He leads GTB at the moment, but this of course the longest race of the weekend. And there's the Cayman, not too far away from the action. The Moles are going to be very pleased about that. Up across the line here at Brands Hatch, this 40-minute endurance race. There is Chris Bentley. Marcus Vivian putting him under a lot of pressure as the cars go down through Paddock Hill Bend.
Want to keep up with all the racing action at the track? Well, download the new Go Racing TV iPhone and Android app. And remember to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Welcome back to Brands Hatch, on board with Marcus Vivian, looking down the inside of Chris Bentley in the 35 Porsche. We've got the Cayman behind as well. This is a real class battle going on. Still side by side at the moment. You can see up in front of them Jeff Wyatt in the Jeff Steele Racing BMW M3, who leads the class. And it's a job to know where to look because there's action all the way. This is the GTB class lead being fought out. Chris Randall still in front. Pete Smallwood chasing hard in the Porsche. And the Lotus getting there. That absolutely fantastic start by Chris Randall. I know he was a little bit disappointed to qualify second on the grid in class, but he made up for it with a great start. And this pair thoroughly enjoying their racing. I've got a feeling it might well change when we get to the pit stops, the timed pit stops. Now this is an unscheduled stop. Coming in is Kevin Riley in the Mosler. It looks like the Mosler's still having problems. On board with Marcus Vivian, the battle for second in GTA. Round the outside, he loves the outside line, does Marcus. Coming down into Graham Hill Bend. He knows that the inside line is getting squeezed just a little bit by Chris Bentley. Let's go down to the pits. Lisa's with Kevin Riley.
Kevin, it looked like the Riley was actually catching the Riley there at one point.
Well, I was hoping to, but more problems, I'm afraid.
We're neutral.
Yep.
Back on circuit, the BMW goes through. Alex Martin lapping. Oh, there's contact! Marcus Vivian chops across the front of Alex Martin. The race leader is out. The race leader's gone. And there goes the new leader going through on the inside. It's the Riley Daytona takes the lead. Now can Alex Martin rejoin, or is there damage on the car? Chris Randall goes through. Pete Smallwood's through as well. And Alex has rejoined. This is the onboard from... Well, it's always difficult to call incidents like that, but to be fair to Alex Martin, as the race leader, he would have been entitled to a clear run through on the inside. So Martin in the LEDextra Group car has rejoined and is still going. Doesn't look like he's come in for his stop yet, so hopefully he'll be trying to work out whether the car's damaged. Marcus Vivian is underway. Let's go down and join Lisa with Colin Mole.
Colin, I know your son Sam's out there at the moment, being pretty consistent so far.
Yeah, he's done really, really well. He's been putting laps in pretty much bang on his qualifying pace, so I'm going to leave him out as long as possible, and then the old boy gets in just to do the bit at the end.
Well, that was my next question. When's your stint coming up?
Probably as late as possible, really. He's really on it today, and I've just got to find a bit more pace, so we'll see. I usually catch him up, though, so no problem.
Very welcome addition to the championship. We're on board with Chris Randall. So Chris going through on the inside of another Chris Bentley as they go up through Druids. Pete Smallwood behind, and this is the GTA leader. Jeff White in the BMW, prepared by Jeff Steele Racing, goes through. Now Bob Berridge has taken over. Let's go down and join Nigel Mustill, who Bob's just taken over from.
Nigel, it's a brand new car. I know you're only second on the grid out there. Just tell us what was it like, because Alex was pretty difficult to catch up, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. I'm getting too old for this job, really, but it's a nice car. I've had it about a month from America. I went over for 3 days and tried it, just sitting in it, and it was really comfortable. It arrived here straight out of the box, and we put some petrol in it, connected the battery, and off we went.
So the Mosler now coming in. Now, is this a scheduled stop for the driver change? It's not a driver change, of course, because Kevin Riley's the only driver, but his window stop, shall we say. Alex Martin's still running well. He's been punted down the order. He's going to try and get past the Lotus here and make up another position. So through he goes on the inside. Chris Randall in the Europa. He's passed as Chris Bentley comes in for his stop. There's Mike Seller, ex-Rallycross and Porsche Boxster driver. He's completed his timed stop. Of course, if there's only one driver in the car, it's a timed stop rather than having to change the drivers over. Mike Seller rejoins the circuit, local driver. And Alex Martin still working his way through the field. He's going to stay out on this lap, goes past Chris Bentley. As in comes Marcus Vivian for his stop and perhaps some diagnostics after the clash with the race leader. Alex Martin back out past the car that clouted him earlier on in the race, so Alex Martin now on the home run. Let's see how far he can get up the field. Championship leader, he's in the lead of class, leading his dad Rupert. Rupert not running with the aero package on the back. Let's go down and talk to Sam Mole in the pits.
Sam, I know this was your first race in 2 years, wasn't it? What was it like in the car after all that?
Very, very exciting, bit hectic, but no, very good fun and truly enjoying it, so it's good to be back.
I know your dad's out there at the moment, isn't he? How's he getting on?
He's doing okay. He's slowly bringing up his pace, and he's getting back into the swing of things, which is what it's all about. So no, he's doing well. Should have a good stint out there.
The white Cayman is passed by the invitation class Riley Daytona, leading this event, but of course not picking up championship points at the moment. Those points I think are going to go to Alex Martin in GTC, the Lotus Europa. Pete Smallwood's going to pick up some points as well. But wonderful to see this car at Brands Hatch. As Lisa said at the top of the programme, you can see most of the circuit most of the time here, which is great. Now, Alex Martin about to try and put a pass on the Lotus, through very easily on the inside. Now, is the Lotus losing speed? Alex Martin very definitely isn't. And that, by my reckoning, puts him up to third. And he's off. The Lotus Europa is out of the race. That is bitter disappointment for Chris Randall. And it's going to leave Alex Martin third overall, but second, of course, in the points.
You seem glued to this computer. Just tell us what it is you're looking at, because I'm looking at it and all I can see is a few numbers and lines. If you can explain it to us.
Well, this is all the telemetry from running of the car, of the engine performance. We've had a few issues with some electronic issues, and I've just been trying to find out, because it's all the different things it's got on the different channels that it programs, and I can download, and then we can find out what's causing the problem.
Okay. So if you weren't to have this throughout a race, would it really make a difference?
Oh yeah, there's a big difference. While he's out there now, I can have a look to see what's happened on his previous laps, and to see what's any problems, any changes we need to make.
Okay.
Back on the race, it's son passing father. Round the outside goes the GTC class leader, Alex Martin, past his dad. His dad's running second in class, of course, as they go up Aylwards towards Druids once again. Spin for Mike Seller. Good job we haven't got the gravel on right on the outside of the circuit now at Druids, because that might have been a safety car. So it's quite a good modification, recent modification to the circuit here at Brands Hatch. And there is the race leader, Bob Berridge, at the wheel. And it looks like he's going to lap Alex Martin. Alex, nonetheless, on his way at the moment to his fourth class win of the season. And championship leader does find himself a lap down. So the Riley goes down on the inside of the Porsche Cayman and into Paddock Hill Bend. I think Alex knows that he's going to get the car home to that fourth win of the year. He's third position at the moment in the race. His dad's in fourth, followed by Mike Seller in fifth place. So it's the Riley that leads along Cooper Straight in the closing stages of what's been a very interesting race, and more of course to come with the 2 sprint races later on. 3 races normally on our weekends, the Butte Motorsports administered GT Cup Championship, but it's Bob Berridge that is going to come across the line to take the win here at Brands Hatch. There it is, no championship points. He's the invitation class car. Pete Smallwood's going to be the first championship runner home. There's Alex Martin in the yellow Ferrari, crosses the line, a class win. He's 4th of the year in GTC. Nigel Mustill and Bob Berridge taking the overall win, but the championship wins Pete Smallwood and Ben Barker, then Alex Martin, Rupert Martin in 4th from Mike Seller, Jeff Wyatt in 6th, he's the class winner in GTA, Chris Bentley next from the father and son Mole team, and Kevin Riley winning GTO down in 10th place in the Mosler. Let's join Lisa and the winners on the podium.
Congratulations, great race. Just tell us how it was like out there.
Well, I took the first stint, and I got stuck behind a really mega starting Lotus, and he just kept absolutely online. I just couldn't get past him. So 16, 17 laps of sitting behind him. I knew I could go quicker if I get past, but in fairness to him, he just held his line. So it was a case of making the best of what we could, and then handing it over to Ben and trying to get in front of him during the pit stops, which we did. And the best we could hope for, really, behind Bob was to get second. We achieved that, so very, very happy.
I know initially you had some problems with the car during the shakedown, didn't you? But that seems to have all been ironed out at the moment.
There's one good thing we didn't have: rain. That's the problem we had. So yeah, it's all solved now.
Considering it is a brand new car, it hasn't done too bad here at the Indy circuit, has it?
No, it's done in the States. It's about 1,500 miles, I think. So you know, it's been shaken down over there pretty well. But of course, it's really a track day car, and use it for proper racing is a different kettle of fish.
Bob, how's that 40-minute race for you?
It was 25 minutes long, that 40-minute race. Nigel did the first 15 minutes, and I did the last 25.
And from inside the car, what was it like from your perspective?
It's a great car. It's so forgiving. It's so sensitive. It's like a good woman.
Jeff, congratulations. Pretty uneventful race, but you got your head down and stayed out of trouble the whole time, didn't you?
I like uneventful races. It didn't feel uneventful, actually. I know it was a lonely race for many of the laps, but Chris Bentley, I knew he was always not too far away from me, and delighted. It was hard work. I mean, I haven't done much racing these last few years, and to come back and win a race is great in the third meeting.
One of those, just a bit of a race of mixed emotions. We were going really well, and caught up a back marker. I think it's only my second or third lapper I caught up, and despite all the blue flags, he blocked me on one corner, and then the next corner drove straight into the side of me and knocked me off. So he either didn't know I was there, which, you know, considering all the blue flags and me being next to him in a bright yellow Ferrari, that's one option, or he's just, I don't know.
A bittersweet day there for Alex, but join us after the break for 2 25-minute sprint races.
Some of the biggest upheavals in American sports is in the world of motor racing, especially sports car racing. There's mergers, new series being proposed, audiences coming and going, drivers getting younger and younger. That's why you need the Racing Insiders on MAV TV to help you navigate the turmoil. The Racing Insiders is a new, weekly, 30-minute news show covering sports car racing, whether it's being done professionally, globally, or by the local grassroots club. Award-winning journalist Bill Wood will host the weekly discussions, along with race-winning insiders Peter Keene in Florida and Jim Daniels in Tennessee. It's a fast-paced, edgy sports show. They'll even reach out to guest insiders to bring you behind-the-scenes insider information you'll want to know. This new era in sports car racing needs the Racing Insiders.
The Racing Insiders on MAV TV, Thursdays at 2 and 5 p.m. Eastern, and again on Saturdays at noon.
Cup Championship is always a great family day out, especially today when the sun's shining and they've opened the grid for all the spectators to come onto the grid, meet the teams, meet the drivers, and just basically have a good day. But I'm going to have a quick chat with Darren. Darren, I know last time I spoke to you at Brands, you said it was the first time you were racing in 18 years.
That's right, yeah.
So I'm guessing today you're still finding your feet, really.
Yep, but it's getting a bit better. Gone a bit quicker this time than we did. We tested on the Indy circuit on the Friday before the last race, and I've gone a little bit quicker than then. So yeah, getting better all the time.
Tell us about this Indy circuit. How's it for the car? How's it for you as a driver?
Demanding, because you never get a chance to rest at all. You know, there's no long straights really. You're always turning one way or the other. So you know, fatigue sets in quite quickly. But other than that, no, it's a good circuit because it's easy to remember. You know, it's a very straightforward circuit.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Now I'm on the grid with Mike Saunders and his dad. It's a family affair, isn't it, today? Just tell us how qualifying went, because I know you had a few problems with grip, and you know you weren't the only one, in fact.
Yeah, we're used to running on Dunlop tyres, so it's a new tyres, interesting. The car was okay. It just felt a bit like a rally car, very sideways. But you know, we're confident. Car should be quicker in a race. Change some settings for mechanic, sorted that out.
Now we've been patiently awaiting you down here on the grid. Just tell us what was going on in the garage.
Yeah, we started the car having made a load of changes, struggling in qualifying, and then found the exhaust was blowing. So we had to quickly jack the car up, do a bit of a modification underneath to get it sealed off, and here we are, luckily.
Here's the grid for our first sprint race. It's Alex Martin on pole position with Michael Saunders alongside, then Kevin Riley and Nigel Mustill in fourth. Fifth place on the grid, Chris Randall, then Dan Stringfellow, Darren Litton, the man we just heard from, Rupert Martin in eighth with Jeff Wyatt ninth, and then Marcus Vivian. Chris Bentley, Sam Mole and Phil Collard complete the grid. There is Phil Collard in the Mazda at the back of the field. So good to welcome yet another mark to the GT Cup Championship for 2013. But it's an all-yellow front row. Alex Martin on the inside gets away very quickly. Michael Saunders in second position. Alex Martin wants to do what he did in race number one. Here's the view from Jeff Wyatt. Pole position in GTA. Rupert Martin there. Going round to the outside of him is Dan Stringfellow. The cars head up to Druids. On the inside goes Darren Litton. So Darren makes up a place. Very frenetic opening lap, but good driving standards at the moment from everybody, despite the close proximity of the cars. There through on the inside goes Marcus Vivian. Pole position in class. Chris Bentley going through as well. So Jeff Wyatt past Marcus Vivian into the class lead. So it's Nigel Mustill driving, and it's a drive-through penalty for Alex Martin. He's judged to have jumped the start, and a drive-through penalty. When is the weekend going to come to Alex Martin? He was pole for the two-driver race, the endurance race. Pole position for this one. He got taken out in the first race, and now his jump start giving him the drive-through. He's away down the field, but I'm sure we're going to see a recovery drive from him. There's his dad in the red and yellow Ferrari. And Rupert telling me that he wants to add some aero to the car for the next round as well. So I think he'll be pitting in the mix as well, which is great to see. Darren Litton looking up the inside in the 27 Porsche. Cracking battle going on between those cars. Dan Stringfellow in the BMW bringing up the rear of this trio up to Druids. Second in the championship now, incidentally, Rupert Martin. We're on board with Jeff Wyatt. Through goes Alex Martin, past Marcus Vivian safely this time. Jeff Wyatt's going through as well. This the battle for the class lead. And Marcus Vivian gets the lead back. So Jeff Wyatt in the Jeff Still Racing BMW trying all he can to get the class lead back off of Marcus. And through goes Michael Saunders into the lead. Cracking manoeuvre by the TVR Cervera past the rival GTO car of Kevin Riley. So it's the Mosler down to second, TVR and Moser, of course, two names that bring to mind Martin Short, who we saw doing so well at Donington Park in our first programme of the season. But it's the Cerberus that has the lead. Michael Saunders, wonderful to have him back in GTO, in the GT Cup Championship, running in the GTO class. Chris Randall round the outside in the Lotus Europa. Jeff White in the 77 car, still running second in class at the moment. Look at the Lotus, very nimble down the inside. Oh, and Marcus Vivian grabs the line. There's the view of that manoeuvre from Chris Randall. Chris disappointed with that drive shaft failure in the endurance race, but it seems that all is running well in the car at the moment. And now dives down the inside of Marcus Vivian. He's through safely, and now he can start to try and chase Rupert Martin. Jeff White's going to have a look down the inside, side by side for the lead in GTA, and it's a change in position. Jeff White goes through, Marcus Vivian back down to second, but he's a fighter. That's what we've seen of him so far. Down through Paddock Hill Bend, this is the view with Chris Randall. Chris trying to chase down Rupert Martin. There's Marcus Vivian, again a very wide line in the Ginetta G50. You can see the yellow square with the black cross indicating that he's a relative newcomer to racing. Rupert Martin now passed by the Lotus along Cooper Straight. He'll make his way down towards 30s. Looks like things relatively settled at the moment for GTA. Now Randall working his way through the field. Back at the front though, Michael Saunders being chased hard by the Mosler of Kevin Riley. It's great to see that Kevin Riley Motorsport, the team, have got that car sorted out, but it's still TVR at the moment. You can see Lotus ahead, and I think we're going to see the Lotus laps. Yep, down on the inside goes Michael Saunders. Comes from Sevenoaks, does Michael. Good clean manoeuvre through. Chris read that well, kept to the outside, and I think we'll see the Mosler go through. There it is, chasing in second position. It's a very keen battle, not only for the overall race, but also for honours in GTO here. So Michael Saunders chasing hard. Kevin Riley taking the class win in our first race, his first class win of the year, and off goes Marcus Vivian, surrendering the GTA battle to Jeff Steele. This is what happened. Maybe a wheel on the outside of Graham Hill Bend. And when you get on the gas there, on the grass, the wheels spin, the car takes the spin, hopefully he'll recover. But Jeff Wyatt then, on his way now, we would think, to a GTA win. He's well clear. Michael Saunders in the yellow TVR, still leading the Mosler of Kevin Riley. One of our older drivers. You just wouldn't know it, would you, from the way Kevin Riley races hard. Chris Randall leading GTB, and the race leader comes together with Marcus Vivian. Well, the second time in two races, Marcus Vivian clatters with the overall race leader. Is there damage on the TVR? He's still in front as they go out of shot. This is what happened. He's coming across. He wasn't all the way across the circuit. But Marcus, there's the race leader in yellow going through. There's the Mosler, and it is a problem. Mike Saunders is going to be out of the race. That is bitter disappointment. So twice we've seen the race leader come a cropper with Marcus Vivian, and now it's the Mosler in front. Sam Mole in the Porsche Cayman is going to be the car to be lapped. He's running well. It was a podium finish for them in the endurance race, which I know that the team were happy with. Michael Saunders into retirement in pit lane, and it's Kevin Riley. Are we going to see an overall race win for Kevin Riley? He's got a good lead at the moment, but the invitation class car of Nigel Mustill is closing in. Chris Bentley ahead into the closing stages of the race. We're into the last lap now. Sam Mole moves over, allows the faster cars through. The invitation class car is closing in. Nigel Mustill's closing up. The checkered flag beckons on the inside. In the Mosler, it's Kevin Riley up to the line. It's side by side. Well, goodness me. The Riley takes the win, but the championship points, of course, go to Kevin Riley, who wins GTO. Alex Martin there in the Ferrari carved his way through the field. He takes the GTC win and third position overall. So Nigel Mustill, the winner from Kevin Riley, he's the GTO winner. GTC goes to Alex Martin in third. Chris Randall wins GTB in fourth. Then it's Darren Litton and Rupert Martin. Jeff Wyatt in 7th place, winning GTA, ahead of Chris Bentley.
Alex, that drive-through penalty really didn't do you any favours, but nevertheless, you're 3rd overall and winner of your class.
Yeah, and we got the fastest overall lap time, so I didn't really need to jump the start. I was a bit of a naughty boy there. I deserved that. The marshals and the stewards, they do a great job, and I deserved the drive-through. But it was good fun. I got to overtake the whole grid.
Chris, 4th overall, just a fast, consistent race for you, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, for me it was about keeping out of trouble, really. I've been having problems with drive shafts this weekend, and I really wanted to look after the car and bring it home in one piece, and we did that, so it's spot on.
I thought I had it in the bag. 3 laps from the end, my paddle shift started to play up, and I did, I think, 1 lap in 6th gear, the whole lap in 1 gear, wouldn't go down, did the hairpin in 5th gear, whoopee. So just no speed at all. I lost the whole lot just because of that small problem. What a shame.
Jeff, 2nd race of the weekend, 2nd podium for you, so it's going pretty well so far.
Yeah, like it, nice.
Any plans for the 3rd race? Are you going to do anything differently? But you must be feeling pretty positive so far.
Well, hopefully the team are going to give me a new clutch, because I spent half that race clutchless, which has been interesting, but so I was really pleased to see the checkered flag at the end of it. But the car was great, so hopefully the clutch problem gets sorted and more of the same next time, basically.
Want to keep up with all the racing action at the track? Well, download the new Go Racing TV iPhone and Android app. And remember to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Mike, a frustrating first race for you. I know the Ginetta made contact with you, and then if that wasn't enough, you made contact with Kevin as well. Just tell us what it was like, because I know you were leading at this point, weren't you?
Yeah, we'd led quite a few laps, and Kevin was pushing me really hard, and I was giving it absolutely everything. You know, it was certainly the rear tyres had overheated at that point, and it was difficult. Unfortunately, the Ginetta turned in when we was lapping him, and we made contact. It's racing stuff, it happens, but it's disappointing when you're in the lead and then not to finish. A lot of damage to the car. We will be out in race 2, but we're not 100% happy with it. But yeah, it's a frustrating day.
Dan, despite some great racing, it seems that things from the start were just conspiring against you. You hit the rear of Rupert's Ferrari there in that race, didn't you, and had to retire?
Yeah, I'd making some good ground on him in the braking and the cornering. For a couple of laps I'd shown him the nose and tried to make a move going into clearways, and he shut the door on me, so I ended up with a broken wheel and a snapped tie rod, so that was the end of our race.
And I know you've got damage to the car, but how's race 2 looking?
Yeah, we should get the car out. It won't be quite just how we want it, but yeah, we should be out and see what we can do.
Alex Martin on pole position again with Kevin Riley on his outside. Then it's Michael Saunders and Bob Berridge. Chris Randall and Darren Litton row 3, followed by Rupert Martin and Dan Stringfellow. Then Jeff Wyatt and Marcus Vivian. Chris Bentley, Colin Mole at the wheel of the Cayman, and Phil Collard joins us again in the Mazda. Alex Martin will be mindful of what happened in the first sprint race, and you can see he's holding back really well here. He won't want to suffer the drive-through penalty. On his outside, Kevin Riley. Bob Berridge in the... Riley is not there, so no invitation class car. It gives us a straight championship run. It's Alex Martin into the lead. There's his dad on the inside. Rupert Martin about to be passed by Dan Stringfellow looking round the outside. This is the view from Jeff Wyatt. So the battle for GTA, and it's Marcus Vivian who takes the lead of that round the outside of Rupert Martin at Druids. And the Ginetta leads class as they go down Graham Hill Bend. onto Cooper Straight. Rupert getting squeezed out by Jeff Wyatt there as well, who's coming through. But out front, Alex Martin, he's there. He's the race leader. We'll see him go through. There he is in yellow, followed by Michael Saunders. Then the Mosler of Kevin Riley. Chris Randall leading GTB at the moment, ahead of Dan Stringfellow. So let's hope Dan can get the car home to the finish. Problems for the Porsche Cayman of Colin Knoll, so he'll bring that into pit lane. Let's hope that they can get that problem sorted out. Now the Mazda has joined the race. We saw the Mazda struggling at the start, and he's on circuit, so he's going to do a few exploratory laps. Mazda raced in the Time Attack Championship last year, a very welcome addition to GT Cup. So the battle for GTA continues. Jeff Wyatt looking down the inside of Marcus Vivian. These two have had a pretty enthralling scrap most of the way through the weekend so far. Jeff Wyatt it is that's come out with two. Michael Saunders off. Disappointment for the TVR. He goes off the circuit. That kind of looks terminal to me. Rupert Martin spins. Let's hope he keeps it out of the barrier. Yes, he does. So Rupert Martin running second in GTA. Marcus Vivian off onto the grass. There goes the GTA lead. He's a newcomer to racing, very quick. This is the view from Jeff Wyatt. You can see goes off going into Surtees, and Jeff Wyatt very coolly and calmly deals with the situation and goes through to take up the class lead. Marcus Vivian rejoins in the Ginetta, but there is the Dextra Ferrari lighting up the track literally here. Alex Martin in the lead.
Gear linkage appears to have fallen off, which is rather unusual, but
I know the mechanics are frantically running around the car trying to fix it. Is it mendable? Will you be able to go back out?
So yes, I'd like to, just if nothing else, to check the setup and, you know, make sure the car drives how we want it. But yeah, very frustrating, I'm afraid.
Colin Mole hoping to get the Cayman back out on circuit. There is Rupert Martin recovering from that half spin, still ahead of Jeff Wyatt, who leads GTA at the moment from the Porsche of Chris Bentley, who's challenging him hard. Jeff Wyatt will be looking for his third win on the bounce. What a successful Brands Hatch Indy meeting it's been for him. Kevin Riley looking for his third win of the season in class in GTO. And of course Alex Martin could make it a hat-trick here, but what he really wants is the outright win. He seems to be on the way to that. So Rupert Martin from Jeff Wyatt and Chris Bentley, the GTC car, leading that battle. And there is the race leader Alex Martin, who's pulling well clear. He's got the fastest overall lap in the race, as he did in our first sprint race, you heard him say on the podium. So things going very well indeed for the FF Corse prepared Ferrari 458. Jeff Wyatt still running well in 77, so 3 wins in prospect. You can see Chris Bentley not that far behind. Marcus Vivian has rejoined in the Ginetta G50, but I don't think he's going to be in a position to challenge for first or second in class unless we get any problems. But now Jeff Wyatt trying to nibble away at the rear end of the Ferrari, coming through Clark Curve and onto the Bradham Straight here at Brands Hatch. You can see the Ferrari, the power gets away. We can expect to see Rupert going further ahead in the next round, as we discussed earlier on in the meeting. He's planning to add the aero package that you can see there on the race leader's car, and it's Alex Martin building a very good healthy lead at the moment over Kevin Riley in second. There's Chris Randall, he's on for an overall podium, third position at the moment for Chris. The little Lotus Europa performing superbly, and of course more importantly being driven superbly by Chris Randall. But it's the championship leader now into the territory where he's getting overall wins and pulling away from the field. There is Kevin Riley, second position in the Mosler, working his way through the back marker traffic past Jeff Wyatt. Finds himself a lap down in this 25-minute race. Late in the day here at Brands Hatch. It's been an absolutely glorious sunny day. We've had families walking around on the grid, as you saw, getting a very close look at the cars before the start of our first endurance race. And the action's been absolutely top-notch. Kevin Riley, fastest in the GTO class as well, 48.7, 89 miles an hour. Just a shade slower than the fastest man on track, Alex Martin. So the Mosler passes Rupert Martin Rupert a lap down now as the Moser goes through Paddock Hill Bend, climbs up Halewood Hill in towards Druids, and in the distance already down Graham Hill and through Graham Hill Bend onto Cooper Straight is the race leader Alex Martin in the Dextra Group Ferrari, who has continued to light up the track in this one, and he's going to see the checkered flag. He's passed Phil Collard, who's still running. Great to see the Mazda still running. And there is the checker. It's the first outright win of the year for Alex Martin. That's exactly where he wanted to be. Outright fastest lap for him too. Phil Collard, you just saw in the Mazda, is going to take 4th position in GTA. So a good first meeting for him. There is Kevin Riley, who's going to take 2nd position in the Moser. Checker and GTO win for Kevin Riley. GTB going to Chris Randall. Confirmation of the results: Alex Martin overall win, GTC win, fastest lap as well, all from pole position, a dominant performance. Kevin Riley is 2nd, he wins GTO. GTB goes to Chris Randall. Rupert Martin in 4th, cements 2nd in the championship overall. Dan Stringfellow comes home 5th, with Jeff Wyatt winning GTA ahead of Chris Bentley and Marcus Vivian.
Alex, congratulations, your first overall win. How does that feel? Because it's been a long time coming, hasn't it?
It feels like I managed not to ruin it this time. You know, I've had plenty of chances. So yeah.
I was thinking to myself, is he going to stay out of trouble? Is he going to stay out of trouble? And you did, which must be really pleasing.
Yeah, no, that was my main thought as I went round. Don't ruin it, don't ruin it.
Jeff, winner of the GTC class, you're 6th overall. I know I spoke to you just a few minutes before we went out for the second race, and you were making some last-minute adjustments, weren't you? So it seems to have paid off.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah, it was very much last minute. In fact, they were adjusting the idle in the forming up area. You know, so literally seconds to spare. But great, the car was as good at the end as it was at the start of the weekend, and all thanks to Jeff Steele Racing for doing a really wonderful job.
Chris, winner of the GTB class. You're one of the few drivers that really managed to avoid any incidents and stayed out of trouble this weekend.
I did, yeah, totally out of trouble. Yesterday wasn't so good. Obviously, we didn't finish the race, so we really wanted to make up for it this today and get some good finishes in and get a good points haul, and that's exactly what we did.
First of all, I'd like to thank my engineers for making my car work. I think that was the first time in about 2 years, I'm not sure, but anyway, it worked perfectly. Nothing wrong with it at all. I was nursing it a bit, not using all the revs, and I thought, this is going quite well. Maybe I should use some revs and catch Alex. But it was too late, really.
Alex Martin leads the championship, 220 points. His dad is 2nd. And it's Jeff Wyatt 3rd. He leads GTA. Kevin Riley leads GTO though. He's 4th overall in the championship. And Dan Stringfellow leading the GTB chase. He's down in 11th overall, 114 points.
Another exciting weekend comes to a close here at Brands Hatch, where once again we've witnessed some of the best GT racing in the UK. Next stop will be Alton Park for round 7. Will Alex Martin be able to defend his championship lead? Join us then to find out.